So the author, Albert Hubbard, has said that freedom cannot be bestowed and it must be achieved. And this is very important when it comes to your finances, because independence essentially is freedom. So financial independence means financial freedom, and it cannot be given to you. It really needs to be something that you work towards. So plan to work towards financial independence. And of course, with that end in mind, you will definitely be successful on your financial journey. So what is financial independence? There are a few aspects that go into financial independence. The first one is consciousness, and I'll explain all of these in a little more detail as we go through the presentation. But consciousness is a big part of it. The second part is knowledge. The third part is awareness. And the fourth part is confidence. So once you have these four aspects, you definitely will achieve financial independence. How? Well, let's take a look at each of these aspects in a little more detail. So consciousness has to do with making conscious decisions, making the conscious decision to be in control of your financial situation and not let your situation control you. That has to be something that you decide on your own. A lot of people that I speak to, and a lot of my clients, a lot of people who attend my webinars, they all tell me that, you know, finance is something that at some point in their life, they thought it wasn't for them. Maybe I'll just leave this to a professional to sort of decide my fate. But the thing is, the information is available, the knowledge is available, and that's the next point, so we'll get there in a second. But all of the access is there. So it's important to empower yourself with that knowledge to be able to sort of reach that step of understanding your finances. So that has to start with a conscious decision. You really need to make that decision to be in control. So then knowledge, of course, like I said, the access is out there. So you really want to focus on learning and being informed of personal finance systems and the way they work and the way they work relevant to you. So that's where we bring in point number 3, awareness, being aware of the aspects of your financial situation. So knowledge will take you from, you know, maybe not understanding personal finance systems to understanding how they work. Awareness is taking that knowledge and applying it to your own situation and understanding how the things that exist in your financial situation affect you personally. And the fourth is confidence. Once you go through the first 3 steps, of course, you will be confident in your financial approaches and you will be able to achieve financial independence. So moving on, financial approaches and attitudes, and specifically being positive in your financial approaches and attitudes is a very important thing. So this has to do with that first consciousness segment of, or consciousness piece of the puzzle. So personal finance is not a one-size-fits-all. I say this a few times. I said it at the beginning of my presentation, and you may hear me say it a few more times because it's so important. It's really key to not look at other people and compare situations, because your situation is going to be unique to you. Your financial attitudes and approaches will heavily affect your financial situation. And what do I mean by approaches and attitudes? Your approaches have to do with your strategy. So what your strategy is in regards to your finances. Your attitudes refer to your mental state. You don't want to be doing things under duress, under stress. You don't want to be doing things that you don't fully agree with or that are outside what's comfortable for you. So you really have to align your approaches and attitudes to make sure that you're successful financially. So let's talk a little bit about financial approaches first. So these are 2 common financial approaches. And again, this is not an either-or situation. You could choose one or the other. You could lean heavily towards one or the other, but you may have a combination of both of these things as you make your financial decisions. One of them is cutting costs. So we're looking at adjusting your lifestyle, budget, and priorities to increase your cash flow by cutting down your costs. So again, for some people, this is the way to go, and they're able to constantly reassess and understand where they want to be spending money and then where they can sort of cut down on their spending, right? The other sort of side of the same coin is increasing revenue. So finding ways to increase your revenue through things like either working more, diversifying your revenue streams, investments, etc. So there's many ways of increasing your revenue as well. Now, obviously, like I said, it isn't one or the other. It's kind of like a spectrum. So you'll fall somewhere on the spectrum depending on your situation. The other thing to remember is you also will change your approach depending on the time that you're in. And I think this pandemic has really highlighted to us that, unprecedented times can happen in life. We all call them unprecedented because we've never seen them, but things can happen in life that completely maybe change the way that you approach your finances. So keep that in mind, that your approach can and will change as you continue through your journey. When we talk about financial attitudes, I have a few tips to maintain positivity and maintain a positive mental state as you shape your financial attitudes. So the first one is think about your priorities, right? You should really treat your financial health as part of your physical and mental health. And like I said before, one can't exist without the others. I'm thinking about an interview I heard from Robert Herjavec, who is one of the stars of the United States show Shark Tank. At the time of this interview, he was worth about $250 million. And unfortunately, his mom had been diagnosed with cancer. And so he did this interview, much later and sort of in hindsight. And he said, when I heard the diagnosis, I was really sure that a man with my resources and with sort of the access and the wealth that I have, that I would be able to do something about this. But again, mental health, physical health sees no bank account, sees no wealth, and is non-discerning. So you really want to make sure that you focus your priorities and your financial attitudes are sort of intertwined in your general priorities in life. The second thing is goals, right? Focus on a goal-based strategy for your finances. If you don't know what you're working towards, then how will you get there? It's like going on a road trip without knowing what the destination is. So you really want to know where you're going in the short, medium, and long term. The third thing is fulfillment. So fulfillment, and again, this goes back to priorities a little bit and to goals, but you really want to make sure that your financial endeavors and all of your goals are really truly going to achieve fulfillment for you. You should not make financial decisions based on external motivation and based on pressure that you might be facing. The fourth thing is mental health. I've talked about this a few times. Again, very important. Focused on building a positive relationship with money. Sometimes people laugh when I talk about, having a good relationship with money. But again, as something that is so prominent in our lives, it is really, really important to have a great relationship with money and with your finances. And the last thing is risk tolerance. So understand and operate within your risk tolerance. Don't put yourself through unnecessary stress. Again, there are a lot of things we see, especially in today's day and age when consumerism is sort of rampant, and most people are prompted and pushed to buy and to spend money and to purchase property and to do things that may not be attainable at your current stage. So operate within your risk tolerance. There's no one size fits all. So operate within what's within your risk tolerance and your situation. So financial independence is not the pursuit of making money. It is about managing what you already have. And this is something that comes up quite frequently. I have people tell me all the time, I would do better financially if I just made more money. I need to be making more money to do well financially. And the example that I use is, if you are not able to lift a 30-pound weight, if you're trying to lift 30 pounds and you're not able to lift 30, how would you ever be able to lift 100? So if you're not able to carry and manage your finances within what you have, how would you expect to manage them when you earn a lot more money? So really focus on the management side of it, not I wish I made more money and that would be my solution.